to infinity and beyond.
Everyone, Roger and James here from the DisKingdom podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing Rush, a Disney Pixar Adventure, which recently got remastered and re-released on the Xbox One. It was originally a kind of a Kinect-only game, so you had to go around waving your arms and running around things. They've re-released it with full-on controller support. And in the new version, they've also added a couple of extra levels based on Finding Dory. So they did actually they did actually go in and change a few things, which kind of bulked it out a little bit more. As a whole, personally, I found it to be it's a solid game. It's going to be very good for kids. I think younger players are going to love it. They're going to love the different worlds. You can definitely feel with this where you're playing and you feel that feeling of, yes, this is a Kinect game with controller support, because every single level you are just running forward. Everything is just forward motion, and you get to go left, right, jump up, duck, and that grab on, zip down, zip line. It can come a little bit monotonous. The only one I would say was cars felt different because it was racing. So it got away with it, and I think it worked, and it actually had some quite good movements, and I did enjoy the car sections. I mean, it's not as good as Driven to Win, but they were good. The Finding Nemo or Finding Dory levels, they're fun because, again, you've got that swimming forward motion works. It looks great. So those levels stood out very much for me. Ratatouille was another really good how that worked. The way we're fighting with like the chef, and then you've got the other chef, and he's there whacking you with his cloth, and it seems to work from that view of you're looking up to them, and they're big and they're the bosses, and it felt fresh. I think because I remember the Ratatouille game on the PS2 as being a little bit, it wasn't amazing. This felt fun. It almost felt like the ride in Paris. It was that kind of thing of, it felt like it worked with the connection. I found the Toy Story levels to be I didn't enjoy them at all. They felt forced into the motion. It didn't feel like a natural fit. And so much of the movements had been seen in The Incredibles and Up. It just depends on which order you do them in. I think by the time I got to Toy Story, I was a bit like, I've done all this. It didn't feel very unique. Incredibles was good. It seemed to work better with that superpowered thing, what you were doing. Up, I wasn't blown away with that. I think the whole idea of what they did with that, the same thing of the throwing stuff at I don't know, they were a little bit odd. It was kind of, and it also felt a bit odd seeing Carl running so fast. But generally, I ploughed through this game in literally under 2 hours. I played all the levels. You can go back and replay and collect all the different icons. But for me, I probably will not go back to that game. But I think for kids, they will do that.
I think it's really a game that's not meant to be played in long bursts. You're supposed to pop in, play 2 or 3 quick 6-minute levels, and then go off and do something else. Now, whether or not kids are going to do that, because we know kids can do repetitive tasks for hours and hours, and we're getting trained in it again with our mobile games and all that stuff. But, it's not a long-term game. It's not a game that's really designed or built around the idea that you're going to play this for 15 or 20 hours. Every level is done within 6 or 7 minutes, even the longest ones. But for what it is, for the amount of time it takes and how quickly the levels are, you get your money's worth out of it, because it is a budget game of $30. It will be significantly lower by the end of the year before Christmas comes around. I enjoyed it. I'd never had a chance to play with the Kinect. Obviously, we talked about that in one of the other episodes. I'd never have been able to play the Kinect. So I think that it translates pretty well to the controller. It basically just becomes a temple run game. It was that kind of endless run. I guess that's what I put up in my review. Was it felt very much like an endless runner. But I think in some ways taking what they do on mobile, but it's a deluxe version of it that feels good. And you got again, this is a 6-year-old game, so a lot of the basics are there. Like I said, for kids, I think this is good. I think
like I said about it feeling a bit samey, I don't think you could play 2 hours in Kinect mode because you'd be exhausted. You wouldn't be able to do, which is the thing. I mean, it'd be a good workout, but that thing of you wouldn't be able to sit down there and do that amount because the actions and stuff. Whereas on controller, it's nice and easy and just going left to right, and that constantly running forward, etc., wouldn't work. But on the controller, you kind of lose that, and it very quickly it's easy.
Yeah, and then there's also the fact that controllers, you get relatively precise controls. Yeah. Even if you've just started with the Kinect and you have the right room space for it, chances are it's not responding as quickly as possible. You're maybe like flailing around trying to reach up and grab the zip line, and it's not registering it, that kind of thing. So, you lose some of that Kinect experience for better or worse. I don't think it's a big loss, but if you've got a bunch of very energetic kids, if you can get them to do it in Kinect mode, you'll help bleed off at least a little bit of energy.
Yeah, so. It's that thing. It's a good kids game just for, if they're 5, 6, it's going to be an easy game for them to control because the control mechanisms is literally left, right, up. Up there. There's only like so many buttons. So I know when I have got my friends over with their kids, they will like, I know, a 5-year-old or 6-year-old is going to love this game because when I give him a game control where he only has to press 1 or 2 buttons, he can handle it and he doesn't have to worry about all the triggers and all the rest of it. They're going to love playing this. And probably, like you say, you put the Kinect on and they're going to be well away with it. But this is that thing of, it is a good kids game. It's going to be cheap. Good little stocking stuffer for Christmas. If you've got all these other great games on the Xbox, this is a good one just to kind of, for kids, for young... it's not aimed at adults. It's not its target audience. But for a kids game, this will work. And we don't see enough of this anymore. The gaming space for child games is shrinking. They are just not putting the effort in. It looks great. We've said before, 4K, it's not going to be relevant for the kids playing this game. They're not going to notice. It looks good enough on a basic Xbox One, but kids are going to enjoy it. And I think that's the key point from here. It's good. It's solid. It works. It's it's going to do what it says.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Lego games at this point are getting past where they can really be described as kid-friendly. They're just so complicated with all the different interactions and stuff. It's nice to see a game where you can just be, all right, run over, pick up those coins, get to the end of the level, and you're done. Yeah. And that's it. And there's no lose condition. And if you get stuck at certain points, it'll even be like, oh, we see you're having a hard time opening this gate.
I did actually get... So I had this little thing flapped up at one point and said, would you like to skip the section? Like, yes, I would actually. I've been trying to open this thing, pulling on this rope to get this battery to open the thing. It's like, I'm pulling on it, but I haven't got enough speed to run. It's like I'm like I can't. And it went, do you want to skip? Yeah, fine, move along. But yeah, it is a good thing. And also, if you're bumping into stuff, in all honesty, you're going to get through the level regardless. I think even if I didn't do that test, but if I literally just crash constantly, would I actually be able to get through it without a problem? And probably yes, because you get enough coins to do it. But it's a good, solid kids game to play, and I think. I did question why they released this, but now I've played it, I'm like, okay, no, I see what you did here.
Yeah, and it was nice that they included the Finding Dory stuff, and it's not just a really quick together. There's only 2 levels. Most of the areas have 3 or 4, but they didn't just do it really quickly. They've got characters like Destiny, the whale shark showing up. They've got a lot of the characters from the movies. You got the octopus, Hank the octopus, and all that. So it's not literally like they just took the Ratatouille levels where part of them are underwater if you want to do it in the sewer and just slapped the Finding Nemo skin on it. They actually design these levels. There's branching paths, so you have to do it multiple times if you want to see how each path is slightly different. I mean, we're not talking like Mario Kart multiple. The course is completely different. It's literally, okay, I go left this time and I go right that time. They still end up at the same point immediately after that, but you see slightly different things go on either side.
No, it's a good, and I think if you only have an Xbox and you need some kids games, this is a good one to put. It's cheap. It's going to be, and it's going to get even cheaper. And I think when it gets like Games with Gold or something like that, it's going to be pretty good. It's that thing of, if you've got kids at the minute, the Switch is where that one's kind of pushing forward on that, but the Xbox, these few games are kind of worthwhile looking into. I did gloss over them when I originally saw them and when I played them and things, but having spent some time playing both of these games, I can see where this was going. And these are games I think that can just sit on those shelves, sit on things, and go for a while. I will have one complaint, and I forgot to mention it with the Disneyland one. I bought both of them on disc because they were cheaper. I put the disc in. It then said, installing 300 megabytes from the disc, download 20 gig. Why have I got a download for both games on a disc of this type of game? It just felt like, there must be nothing on I might as well have just brought them digitally, and I was so annoyed because I couldn't play it that evening because I brought it on disc for a reason. To have to do a 20 gig down, and it only installed 300 megabytes from the CD. It
installs a license and then downloads the rest.
Yeah, but you have to put the disc in to play it after. And it was sitting there just like, this is ridiculous. This is just like, it's completely unnecessary. Why? You've gone to the bother of putting out a disc version, but you've literally not even put it's like there's no reason for this. This is not going to be updated. This is not going to have patches. It's not going to. It's like, why on earth is not the entire game? I mean, it really. I was really, really frustrated and really annoyed because I couldn't play the game. And I imagine if I'm frustrated, imagine what a kid's going to be like when you go, here you go, kid. It's Christmas Day morning. Oh, Dad, it's a 20 gig download. The network's down.
I mean, this is one of those things that's kind of happened the last several years for Christmas. This is not a this year specific thing, but I have a friend who's got his 8-year-old son, and he got him Skylanders last year, and it's like, make sure that you install the game on the edge. So they actually got him an Xbox One for I think it was an Xbox One for Christmas, and they opened it up while he was at school. Plugged it in, got it connected to the network, loaded all the games in it, downloaded all the patches, so it was ready to go on Christmas, because it had happened, the year or two before, I think, with their nephew, whereas exactly what you're describing. Let's play the new game after Christmas dinner. After dinner, we're going to play after dinner because it's patching everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've it's got to that point. It was a very much an annoyance of the fact that this shouldn't have been happening on these games. There is no reason for this. This is laziness. This is trying to do it as cheap as possible, get that disc out and worry about putting that. It's like, on these kind of games, they should be on that disc. And it was that point there where I'm going, why did I buy the disc? I have all this plastic for nothing. I might as well have just brought digitally, to the point now where I am still very questioning, but then again, it's £20 on digital and £17 to buy the physical. It's
Roger, you are responsible for that tiny little piece of the environment getting destroyed for buying this game. So it's all your fault.
Just be aware of it. It was the one thing that really frustrated me. It was enough to even make a tweet. That was how bad I was. The 21st century tut.
But in fairness, this is, I don't think, specific to these two titles. This is definitely the way things are going, and it's not specific to the Xbox. The PlayStation definitely has its thank you for buying this day one game. Sit here for 20 minutes while we download all the other assets. The Switch has been good about this, though. We got to give them that. The Switch has been very good about being like, okay, you just put the cartridge in, have some fun, enjoy the game. So,
but then Nintendo's still living in 2006, so it's all right. Yeah. But we'll have you're
not going to be playing with friends. No.
Let us know what you guys think of Rush if you've played it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook. You can also like, subscribe, and follow whichever audio or video platform you are watching or listening this show on. James, where can they find you?
heroiclegacy.com.
And on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you guys soon. Laters.
Later.